Welcome to my top 20 best movies of the year 2019. It is over. It is over. And it's crazy because I can literally remember yesterday going to watch Escape Room at the beginning of the year. And now the year's going by so fast. It means the life's going by so fast. But no, guys, it is that time of the year. It's time to do the best movies of the year. And I've done this for a couple of years, and a lot of you like this, and some of you don't, but it's okay. But I am doing my 20 best movies of 2019. And I can't lie. After the summer was over, I said to myself, can I even do a 20 this year? And then the Oscar season started, and then it started to rack up a little bit. So thank you, Oscar season, because this year was very disappointing for me in a lot of areas, but the Oscar season saved it, and now we're here to talk about my favorite movies of 2019. This is just my opinion. This is literally me going to the movies and saying, I like that movie, I didn't like that movie, or I love that movie. And so this is my opinion. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys think of my list. What is your favorite movie of the year? What movie did you love? Because I have a lot of movies, and before I can do my top 20, I do have to say I did not see every single movie this year. Like, my biggest one I didn't get to see yet is 1917. Comes out January. I want to see it. I'm not going to be able to see it, so that's why I'm here now to do this video. So I got to do a few honorable mentions before I get started, and I have 5 honorable mentions, and that is Waves, How to Train Your Dragon 3, It Chapter 2, Long Shot. And those are my honorable mentions for 2019. Those are movies I like a lot, but they did not make the list. And now we got everything out of the way. It is time to start on it. Let's do it, guys. We got a long list. Here we go. Number 20. Coming in the 20th spot is always hard to do because it's a good movie. It's just because it's at the bottom list that makes it more of a bad movie. No, this movie is super entertaining and is a great third film, and I cannot wait for the 4th one, which I just can't believe they actually are doing. But number 3 will be John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. The stunt work in this movie is fantastic. The action in this movie is just awesome. The movie is just entertaining to watch, and I really just enjoyed watching it. And if honestly, Keanu Reeves, if he just keeps doing these movies, I'll be fine with it. I can't wait to see the 4th one. I've liked all the movies. I still think the first one's the best, but this is definitely my second favorite. John Wick 3 was a very entertaining, bloody action, stunt work, awesome masterpiece of action. Number 19. Coming in 19th spots is a surprising movie, if you ask me. A movie I had no in need of watching, but I watched it and I loved it. Number 19 is Fighting with My Family, starring The Rock and produced by The Rock. And it's also got my girl, Florence Pugh, who I have fallen dearly in love with after this movie. She was great in this movie. The movie was just a feel-good movie. It was funny as hell. I laughed. I enjoyed these characters. I enjoyed the wrestling aspect, and I'm not even a wrestling fan, but I had a really good time with this movie. It makes me laugh every time I watch it, and again, Florence Pugh, her performance alone as this wrestler, she was great. I really enjoyed this movie. Number 18. Coming in the 18th spot is another Florence Pugh movie, and that is Midsommar, or Midsommar, however you want to say it. This movie is a second viewing movie. The first time I watched it, I left very disappointed. I watched it again on Blu-ray, and I was like, I noticed things, and I noticed more, and I enjoyed the movie more the second time, and the third time I watched it. So I've seen the movie 3 times, and I've come to the conclusion, I really like this movie. I just don't like it as much as Hereditary, but the performances are great. Florence Pugh is Oscar-worthy in this role, even though she's going to get a lot more for Little Women, but she was great in this role. The directing is by Ari Aster, was amazing. The cinematography is beautiful. The movie's score is just goosebump chilling. The movie is very underrated, if you ask me. A lot of people don't like this movie, but I truly do. I just had to see it a few more times before I got my final review on it. Number 17. Coming in 17 is a movie that very much surprised me. This was a movie that I put my number 1 most movie, like, you know, I do most anticipated videos, and I do 3 movies I don't want to look forward to. This was my number 1 movie I don't want to see, and now it's in my 17th spot. And that is Ready or Not. This movie was awesome. That is just plain and simple. The main girl in this movie, who I cannot remember, Sam Weaving, that was her name. She was freaking awesome in this movie. She alone is the reason to watch this movie. The movie is bloody, the movie is fun, the movie is exciting, and it actually is kind of sweet toward the end because of the message of marriage and joining a family, and I like that kind of stuff. The movie was definitely original and very just unpredictable of how it ended especially. I love the movie. I cannot wait to rewatch it. I haven't bought it yet, but when I watched it the first time in theaters, I went again with a group of friends, and I enjoyed it more the second time. I very much am just entertained by this movie. Number 16. To all the people out there who love the Academy Awards, this movie is going to be all over the Oscars, and you're probably going to hate me because it's the number 16 spot. Number 16 is The Irishman. I love the movie, do not get me wrong. Robert De Niro is probably going to get nominated for Best Actor. If he don't, it is a robbery. He is amazing. The movie is pretty amazing, and it's a fucking Netflix movie. That is crazy that this movie is a Netflix movie. It should be in theaters, even though it's 3.5 hours long. I love the cast, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, the storyline, the characters. This felt like an original Scorsese movie, and I really just enjoyed watching it. But it's definitely a movie I haven't rewatched yet because, again, it is 3.5 hours long, but still, it's a movie I feel like if you're a film lover, you need to watch this movie. Number 15. All my Marvel fans, you all know this movie was going to be on this list, and of course I'm talking about Spider-Man. Yes, I'm talking about Spider-Man, this Marvel movie. Spider-Man Far From Home. This movie was just a really good sequel, and the real reason this movie is on this list, it hands down had the best moment for me in a movie theater all year long, and besides, you know, Thor and the Hammer and Captain America, all that kind of stuff, but seeing J.K. Simmons, I mean, my crowd jumped up and lost it, and I'll never ever forget that moment when everyone went, holy shit, and jumped away, yeah! I even was like, oh, J.K. Simmons. But besides that one moment, the movie's great. It's, Tom Holland as Spider-Man is so perfect casting. I mean, it's great. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is one of my favorite villains of the entire year, and Marvel villains. I really like this movie. It's definitely a rewatchable movie too. Number 14. This is the reason why when you grade a movie, and if I give a movie an A+, this is the reason why you think it's going to be my top 5. But no, it's in my 14th spot. Number 14 is Us. Now, let me explain. I rewatched it, I liked it less. That's just my honest thing. I really liked the movie, do not get me wrong. It is a great, well done original movie. I just don't like it as much as I first saw it. I think I overhyped myself a little bit. There's a few plot holes and everything, I can't admit that now, but the movie is so well directed. It's got one of my favorite scenes in a movie all year, the home invasion scene. The soundtrack is amazing. The acting by Lupita Nyong'o is Oscar worthy, hands down. Don't even argue with me in the comments. She is fantastic. I love Jordan Peele's writing. I can't wait to see what he does next. This movie was original, and I really just appreciated it being a horror film, and it's directed by a black person with a black cast, and I like that. It's different and original, and I loved it. Number 13. 13 is a movie mystery that it mysteriously grew on me. When I watched it the first time, I was like, I really entertained that. And then I thought about it. I was like, that movie was just original and different. And this is the reason why Star Wars The Last Jedi gets so much hate when you feel like Rian Johnson is a bad director. No, because if you watch Knives Out, yes, is my number 13 spot. He is such a great writer and director, and this movie proves it. I love the cast. I love Daniel Craig. I loved the main girl, who I cannot remember her name, but she got nominated for a Golden Globe, which I'm really happy about. Again, Daniel Craig, Chris Evans. I love the cast. I love the mysterious story. I love whodunit kind of movies. It reminded me of Clue. It had good comedy. It was smart, great dialogue, and it's a twist on whodunit kind of movie. If you've seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. It is such a fun movie too. I feel like a lot of people really liked it, and it did really well in box office too, which I'm happy about. Go and see it. It's still in theaters. It's definitely worth their time. Number 12. All you haters out there can just hold on a second, because I like this movie. No, I like the other 3 movies more, even though I still gotta grow on it, but number 12 is gonna be Toy Story 4. I love the animation. The animation is beautiful. You get Woody, you get Buzz, you get to see our story, you get to see our characters come back. It didn't, to me, feel like a cash grab at all. It felt like a story that fitted in this trilogy, and it felt good to see our characters back, maybe for our last time. I don't know. They said that for the 3rd one, but look where we're at now. But I love the 4th movie. I love the villain in this movie. I loved the story. I loved the animation. It felt original into the story, which to me felt good, so that's why it's my 12th spot. Number 11. This movie is very recent because it was my last review, and that is Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler is Oscar worthy, hands down. I think this movie is a exhilarating ride. I still think about it. I saw it 2 days ago. The movie is a ride. It's exhilarating. You can't hold your breath. The whole movie, you're holding your breath. It's intense. I loved it. It was so well directed and edited by the Safdie brothers. The movie is so good. It's so original. I love the acting. I love the characters. I loved original, like how original this movie was with Kevin Garnett and this gym, whatever. I really just enjoyed the originality of this movie, and I cannot wait to see what the Safdie brothers do next. Number 10. To all the people out there who are like, I wish you do a top 10 list. Just think about this. 20 through 11 is done now. We're entering 10 through 1. We're in the end game now, but no, that's not number 10. Number 10 is Ford versus Ferrari. Another movie I really loved a lot. I'm telling you guys, this movie was a surprising movie. It made me tear up. It made me excited. It made me just love movies for being movies. This movie was like a $100 million budget movie. And it's not a superhero movie, and it's not a big franchise movie. It's just an original, inspiring true story starring Christian Bale and Matt Damon about Ford and Ferrari and the race. I was intrigued in this movie. I love the acting. I love the editing, the directing. This movie is a movie for families all. I think this movie deserves way more Oscar buzz than it's getting. It's really sad too, because I feel like it deserves a Best Picture nomination, which I hope it does. This movie is awesome. Go and see it. It's still in the theaters. Number 9. Listen, if you tell me a sequel to The Shining is coming out, one of my favorite movies of all time, then I gotta see it. And for it to be as good as it is, then give me it more. Number 9 is Dr. Sleep. This movie was so good. Like, I mean, I didn't expect it to be really good. I really liked this movie, and I saw it again with my mom, and she was like, that was a damn good movie, and that's when I know there's a good movie on my hands. Dr. Sleep was such a great sequel and its own movie, which I loved. I loved how it was its own movie and not just completely relying on The Shining, even though at the very end we do get our fan service, which was earned fan service. Rise of Skywalker couldn't do that. Anyways, this movie was well earned. I loved Ian McGregor. I loved our story. I loved the originality of this story with The Shining being mixed in. It felt like a good sequel. It felt like an original 80s sequel. Like, different title, different characters, more intriguing to our story, and not relying on the first movie. And I loved that about this movie. Number 8. To the person out there who commented, this movie's for the adults. Thank you for the comment. I did have a good laugh about it. But number 8 is Parasite. Yeah, a movie a lot of you probably didn't think was going to be on my list. Listen, I saw it again. It came to a local theater near me after I drove, freaking hours to go see this movie. The movie grew on me. I still don't love the ending, but I can't lie. The directing is so damn good in this movie by Bong Joon-ho. Can't even think of his name. The acting is so fantastic. The movie is so original and so different, and it does a great job telling society how it is, how people are treated with richness and being poor. And I love that, the versatility in this movie. It's an original movie. I love the story. I love the actors. It's a movie that stuck with me, and I had to see it again. That's why I think this movie is so compelling and so good. If a movie sticks with you, the movie did something right, which we'll get more into later in the list. But number 8 is Parasite, and yes, it will be nominated for Best Picture. Might even win. Number 7. I can't believe I'm saying this, but my number 7, top 10 of the year, number 7 is a Netflix movie, and that is Marriage Story. I loved this movie. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson gave 2 of the best performances in my life I have ever seen. Hands down. They both deserve Oscar nominations. They both deserve to win. To be honest, if they both won, I wouldn't be mad. I do have prefer other performances, but they were outstanding. The dialogue felt so real. The comedy was funny. The characters felt real. I loved our characters. I loved the story. I loved everything about this movie, and I just could not keep my eyes off the screen, and I teared up like a bitch during that argument scene, and I loved it. The acting is fantastic. You need to see this movie if you are if you're a fan of acting, if you want to learn acting, watch this movie. It is so good. It's on Netflix right now. Number 6. Here comes the comments. Number 6. Avengers Endgame. Yep. It was number 1 for a while. I can't lie. When I first saw it, I was like, this year's done. It's number 1. It's done. You took the title. It dropped, I can't lie. But number 6 is not a bad spot. Avengers Endgame is a movie that is going to be impacted on films for the rest of our lives. It's the #1 grossing movie of all time. I don't see anything touching it. I just don't. The movie is so impactful. I mean, I Love You 3000. The movie, everyone saw it. Everyone loved it. I know people loved it. I loved it. It was so impactful. How much it's going to affect our audiences, and like, just this movie is going to live on in so much. And Marvel, what they've done and how this movie's got built up to past 10 years. It was paid off well, if you ask me. I loved this movie. I really enjoyed it, and I watch it all the time. It's definitely a movie I could rewatch too, and it definitely built off Infinity War, which is also a great movie. But number 6 is gonna be Endgame. Number 5. To all of you out there, what was my favorite movie this summer? Hands down was Booksmart. I loved this movie. And again, this movie was #1 for a while because this came after Avengers. When I watched it, I was like, Booksmart is amazing. These two performances by these two main girls, I mean, they're both Oscar worthy if you ask me. They are amazing. Olivia Wilde, like, first time directing, the directing was awesome. I love the energy in this movie. I love the music. I love the comedy. I laughed so hard in so many scenes in this movie. It is hilarious. I can relate to this movie. There is a scene in this movie that literally made me just tears roll down my eye. It's the pool scene. I've literally had that happen to me. I've had that happen to me. It was awful. And this movie was so well done for high school people. And I graduated a few years ago, so I can relate to these characters. I loved this relationship. I love these characters. I love the story. I loved this movie, and to me it's better than Superbad. Sorry, Superbad fans, but I love this more. Number 4. Coming in the 4th spot is a movie that I did not even give an A grade to. Not an A+, not an A, not an A-. I gave this movie a B+. And like I said about Parasite earlier, this movie stuck with me. And if you've seen this movie, then you know it stuck with you too. And I just couldn't get out of my head. I saw it 2 more times in theaters. I've seen it 3 times now. And I've come to my conclusion of what this movie is. It is a hidden gem masterpiece. I feel like people need to see more. It's a shame you didn't get to see it in theaters. But number 4 is The Lighthouse. Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are being robbed of Oscars, if you ask me. They are, I mean, I haven't heard anyone talk about them, and that's a shame. Because they deserve Oscar nominations, possibly even wins. Willem Dafoe is outstanding. Robert Pattinson, I will never think of him as a bad actor ever again in my life. The aspects ratio of this movie, seeing it like an old-timey in theaters, lives in my heart. I will never forget the feeling of seeing this for the first time in theaters like that. I loved the originality, the cinematography. It should win Best Cinematography, but it won't. It just won't. This movie's not getting anything buzz, and it's killing my heart. It is a movie that took me 2 more times to watch. I've seen it 3 times in theaters. It's a movie that definitely you gotta watch again. I love the hiddenness. I love the directing. I love the acting. I love the setting, and the sound design is so good. I just love how different and original and old-timey it felt. It's a movie that stuck with me after I left the theater for the first time, and it has not left, and it comes out on Blu-ray in a few weeks. I cannot wait to watch it again and show people this movie of how great and original and underrated it is. Please watch The Lighthouse if you can. Number 3. Once again, I have always said for this whole video basically, second viewing so much matters. The first time I watched this movie, I loved it. The second time I watched it, I really loved it. The third time, my parents with me, they loved it, I loved it, and the 4th time, I've seen it 4 times now, I watched it literally yesterday with my family, with my sister actually joining us this time, and I loved it. This movie has great acting, great directing, great storytelling, very original by the famous Quentin Tarantino. Yes, number 3 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I have a poster, what is right here, right now, on my wall, right over there next to my bed. This movie is just originally great. Leonardo DiCaprio is going to get nominated for Best Actor, and it makes me very happy because after I saw this movie, I said Brad Pitt stole the show. But Leonardo DiCaprio is so damn good in this movie. I can't wait to see him get nominated. Brad Pitt, I think he's a shoo-in to win Best Supporting Actor. I really do. I think he's going to win it. I think this movie is gonna win Best Picture. I'm calling it. I think this movie goes all the way. I think it wins the whole damn thing. It might even give Tarantino a Best Director. It's either going to be this or Irishman, but I am pulling my bet for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is a movie that definitely includes a second viewing, and I loved it. I love the acting. I love the dialogue. Of course, the dialogue is amazing by Tarantino. I love the setting. I love the plot. And of course, who doesn't love the scene at the very end? The best scene all year long goes to this movie. This was #1 today at one point. I was like, is this #1? And then I thought about it, I was like, it's #3. But don't get me wrong, this movie is going to go down as a classic Tarantino masterpiece. #2. As I sit here and say #2, I'm still thinking about switching my #1, #2 as I look at my list right here. This movie, I just loved. I love the tones of being so dark, so funny, and so amazingly acted. #2 is Jojo Rabbit. I love this movie. You telling me Taika Waititi is Hitler, and he's gonna teach a little boy how to be freaking bad, and then he's gonna fall in love with a Jew, which is the best relationship all year of that little boy and that girl. This movie was just everything. I laughed my ass off. I cried my eyes out, and I was intense at the very end of this movie. The tones of this movie, you think would do this? It goes smoothly, and I loved it. This movie is for everyone. I'm gonna say it's for everyone. It is hilarious. It is so heartwarming. You love Scarlett Johansson. I feel like she needs a supporting actress nomination for this movie. If she doesn't, she's being robbed. She is so good in this movie. Taika Waititi is amazing as Hitler. The little boy who plays Jojo, he's got a future, is all I'm saying. This movie was so original. I laughed, I cried, I loved it. I loved this movie. I want to see it again. I've only seen it one time, but it stuck with me, and I can't wait to watch it again. It was so close to being #1, but now let's move on to that one. #1. So here we are. 2019 is coming to the end. I've done all my list, 20 through 2. You've known my favorite movies, but #1, I think a lot of you can pretty much guess what it is. It's a movie that I was excited for, I can't lie. I've seen it 4 times in theaters. I love it. Everyone on Instagram that I've seen or who have seen this movie love this movie. And it's just my favorite movie of the year, hands down. My favorite movie of 2019 goes to Joker. It is what it is. I loved this movie. I know you, it made me feel icky. I didn't like how I felt after leaving the movie. I loved how I felt after leaving this movie. This moment, I got goosebumps up my arm. I'll never forget watching an IMAX and the crowd went, yeah! And I was like, this is so messed up, but I loved it. Joaquin needs to win Best Actor. Yes, I know you have Adam Driver, Robert De Niro, and all these other actors who are so good. I gotta give it to Joaquin for Best Actor. His performance as Joker is, it's just out of this world, psychopathically amazing. There are so many moments that are gonna live on. People are still talking about this movie, and it crossed $1 billion. That is crazy. I did not see that coming, and it deserved every penny of it, if you ask me. I loved this movie. It is my favorite movie of the year. I cannot wait to watch it again on 4K. It is 1000% my favorite movie of 2019. And that is it, everyone. That is my top 20 best movies of the year of 2019. So do you agree with me, or do you hate my guts and I am totally wrong? That is your opinion, and this is my opinion, and this is my list. So hate me if you want, but that's just how I feel. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what your favorite movie of the year was. What was your favorite moment of the year? What was anything? Tell me how your weird went. It doesn't have to be movies. What did you do this year? Did you get married? Because I didn't. I have no girlfriend at all. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Coming soon is the worst video, which is the fun list. Hey guys, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great night. See you guys next time. Bye-bye, everyone.